If you've spent any time at all in the cloud, you know AWS S3. I mean, it's basically the internet's hard drive, right? It's the engine behind everything from your Netflix stream to critical company backups. But there's this one core idea about S3, this little paradox that trips up even seasoned developers. And today, we're going to clear that up for good.
So here's the big question. The puzzle at the heart of S3, is it a global service or is it a regional one? Because you hear people say both. And the weird part is they're both right. So how is that even possible? How can something be everywhere on the planet, but also in one very specific local place at the same time? That is exactly the paradox we're going to solve. And the secret? Well, it all lies in S3's really clever architecture. It separates the name of your storage bucket from where the actual data inside that bucket lives. Getting this one distinction, this idea of a global name pointing to local data, is absolutely the key to mastering S3.
Okay, let's break this down with a super simple analogy. Think about your email address. It's totally unique in the entire world, right? No one else has it. That's global. But the actual mailbox, the physical spot where your letters land, that's in one single post office in your town. That's local. S3 works the exact same way. The bucket name has to be unique across all of AWS, everywhere, but the files you put inside it, they live in one specific data center that you get to choose. So you might be wondering, why does the name have to be so unique? Well, first, it all comes down to how the internet fundamentally works. Every single S3 bucket name becomes part of a public web address, a URL. And just like you can't have two websites with the exact same domain name, you can't have two buckets with the same name. It also doubles as a security feature. It stops someone from creating a bucket called My-Company Invoices in a different region to try and trick you or intercept your data. And you can see it right here in the URL structure. Look at that. The bucket name is right there at the front, acting as a subdomain. It's a core part of the internet's public address book. That's why it has to be completely one of a kind, not just in your account, but across every single AWS account on the planet. Okay, so if the name is global, why on earth do we keep the data locked down in one region? This is where the real world comes crashing in. First, and this is a big one, legal compliance. Data privacy laws like GDPR in Europe are really strict. They demand that user data physically stays within a certain geographic boundary. So by choosing a region like Frankfurt, you're meeting that legal requirement. Second, speed, or what we call latency. Storing your data in Sydney for your Australian users just means faster downloads for them. It's common sense. And third, plain old cost. Moving data between AWS regions costs money. Keeping it local, close to your applications, is just cheaper. So, we've nailed down the why behind S3's design. Now, let's get a little more practical and talk about the how. You're generally going to manage your S3 buckets and the files inside them in two main ways, either through the visual web console or with a super powerful command line interface, which we just call the CLI. And each tool really has its own sweet spot. The S3 console is that graphical interface you see in your browser. It's fantastic for visually exploring what you have, clicking around to set up a complex policy, or just dragging and dropping a single file. But when you need to upload thousands of photos or automate a nightly backup, oh yeah, the command line interface is your best friend. It is built for speed, for bulk operations, and for scripting. Now, no matter which tool you're using, you're going to come across something called metadata. Don't let the word scare you. Just think of metadata as digital sticky notes you can attach to your files. It's just a set of key value pairs, simple labels like author equals Jane Doe or status equals draft. They travel with your object and are incredibly useful for keeping things organized. Let's look at a real command from the CLI. To create a bucket, you use AWS S3 MB. The MB is just short for make bucket. And look, right there in the command, you can see the paradox in action. First, you have your globally unique bucket name, and then you have that all-important -region flag, where you tell AWS the exact physical place you want your data to live. And check this out. Here's how you upload a file using this CP or copy command while attaching some of that metadata we just talked about. You just add a -metadata flag, and you can stick custom labels on your files right as they're being uploaded. It's a seriously powerful way to organize your data automatically. All right, everybody lean in for this next part because it is critical. This is about a major myth about S3 that a lot of people, even some pros, still believe. For years, we talked about S3 having eventual consistency. Well, I'm here to tell you that is old news. A massive update changed everything. So, here's the story.
Before late 2020, S3 worked on that eventual consistency model. That meant if you updated a file, you might get the old version back for a few seconds if you tried to read it right away. It could be really confusing. But then a huge update rolled out. And today, S3 provides what's called strong read after write consistency. And trust me, it is a total game changer for anyone building applications.
So, what on earth does strong consistency actually mean? It's really simple. As soon as S3 tells you an operation was successful, whether you created a new file, overwrote an old one, or deleted something, the very next request is guaranteed to see that change. No more waiting, no more uncertainty.
This fixes a problem that used to drive developers absolutely crazy. You see, in the old days, you could upload a file, get a success message back, and then immediately try to access it, and boom, 404 not found. So frustrating. Well, that problem is gone. Today, if you get a success message on an upload, that file is immediately available to the entire world. What you write is what you get. Period. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, from high-level architecture all the way down to command line flags and data models. So let's boil it all down. Let's create a simple foundational checklist with the key things you absolutely need to remember. Here it is, the 4 core takeaways. Number 1, the name is global. It has to be unique across all of AWS because it's part of a public URL. Number 2, the data is regional. It stays exactly where you put it for legal reasons, for speed, and to save money. Number 3, metadata. Those are your custom digital labels that travel with your files. And number 4, the big one, consistency is strong. What you write is what you get right away. So there you have it. The S3 paradox is, well, not so much of a paradox anymore, is it? You've got the foundation now. You know how it really works, from that global name to its local data and its ironclad consistency guarantee. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?